Hello. This afternoon I will be reading Something Beautiful from the lesson plan that I shared with you earlier regarding Takia's wonderful book that she has chosen, Something Beautiful. Sharon Dennis Wythe is the author of this book, and Chris Sopenteet is the artist. And this is a particularly beautiful book to me. It's always been one of my favorites. I hope you enjoy Takia's lesson plan. You also have this lesson plan in a hard copy in your portal. And this is the opening title page. And this looks like a notebook where a child has been writing in his or her journal and has written out the word beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. The dedication page is for the author's daughter and for the kids at PS 291 in the Bronx, and in memory of a caring child, Kia Carnegie. And that was the author's dedication. The artist dedicated his work to Nana. Something Beautiful. Published by Dragonfly Books, New York, New York. When I look at this, I'm thinking that this is going to be a happy story. The little girl looks like she's very happy. She's sitting at an old-fashioned soda fountain. And in days gone by, when I was a girl, about the age of this little girl, there were drugstores in my little country town, and they would have a soda fountain where you could order special non-alcoholic drinks, of course, like a lemon soda or an orange soda or a root beer float. And I'm wondering if I really might have some connections to this, but I don't know. We'll read on and see. This is a beautiful double spread to this book, and part of the work that we're trying to do in the interactive read aloud is to hold the book up and let the students take a close look at the double spread of the book. I have flipped my camera to try to get most of these in the double spread. When I look through my window, I see a brick wall. There is trash in the courtyard and a broken bottle that looks like fallen stars. And I'm thinking that this book says something beautiful, so it's starting out with something that's not so beautiful. And I'm wondering, what is the author's message in this book? A little girl sitting at a soda fountain, and then it shows her looking out her window. Turn to your partner and talk a little bit about what you think is happening here. Thank you. Here is another double spread. On this one, we see D-I-E, die. There is writing in the halls of my building. On the front door, someone wrote or put the word die. Now she is looking very sad and very, very conscious of her surroundings. Conscious of her surroundings means that it saddens her in her everyday life. She seemed like a happy child when the book opened, and now all of these sad things she's seeing are really making an impact on her. Where I walk, I pass a lady whose home is a big cardboard carton. Cardboard means it's made of paper, and carton means that it's something that is a holder for something like a refrigerator or a stove or something like that. She sleeps on the sidewalk, wrapped in plastic. Another double spread. This time she looks very frightened, and it looks like she's running away. And here she is in an area that looks very, very scary. There's lots of trash. Let's see what's going to happen. I run past a dark alley where Mommy told me I must never stop. The word alley and dark, an alley is a space between two buildings, usually in a city, and there's a place where you can walk, like a street that goes between the two buildings. And she says her mother told her that she must never stop. Talk to the people around you about why you think she should never stop. And why would her mother even let her do that? Behind a fence, there is a garden without any flowers. Mommy said that everyone should have something beautiful in their life. Where is my something beautiful? And you remember in Takia's lesson plan, she wrote about the little girl is looking for her something beautiful. Turn to the people around you and think first, what do you think her something beautiful might be? Then pair, and then share. Think, pair, share. Take just a minute again to look carefully at this and pay close attention to the words. Think, pair, share. Let's read on. Oh, here is that word again. Beautiful. The teacher taught me the word in school. I wrote it in my book. Oh, remember? I thought that the writing might be in a journal that was at the beginning on the opening page. I wrote it in my book. Beautiful. I think it means something that when you have it, your heart is happy. I go to Delphine's Diner. A diner is a place where people sit. Do you remember I told you in the old days when I was a little girl, instead of a diner, we called it a soda fountain, and it would be at a drugstore, but this is actually a restaurant. I go to Miss Delphine's Diner. Hi there, Sugar Pie, says Miss Delphine. What are you up to? I'm looking for a something beautiful, I tell her. Well, sit down for a minute, she says as she goes to the grill. Now, you may know or you may not know, but the grill is a place where people cook things over a flame, and usually it's something like a hamburger or a hot dog. I'm looking for a something beautiful, I tell her. Well, sit down a minute, she says as she goes to the grill. She puts on fish. The fish sizzles. That means it makes that wonderful sound when it's cooking and the hot flame is making the fat come out of the fish, and it sizzles like that. Miss Delphine makes it into a sandwich. Why, there's nothing more beautiful tasting than my fried fish sandwiches, she tells me. My teeth sink in. This is good. Talk to the people around you about how you think Miss Delphine feels about the little girl who is looking for a something beautiful. What kind of relationship do you think that they have? And you know, this looks like the little girl's teacher. He's drinking coffee and reading his book. This must be a neighborhood diner. Thank you for that good conversation. Here's another beautiful double spread. I love sharing the double spreads because I think you can really get the whole gist And gist means, what is the author trying to tell us? What is the message? When I go back outside, I see some of my friends. Do you have a something beautiful? I ask them. I have my jump rope, says Sybil. I have my beads, says Rebecca. Check out my new shoes, says Jamal. So everyone has a something beautiful, or at least they think they have a something beautiful. Here is another beautiful double spread. These are particularly beautiful. Turn and talk to your neighbor about the kind of people that live in this little girl's neighborhood. Where is her neighborhood? Thank you for that good conversation. My fruit store is one beautiful store, said Mr. Lee. You do have nice apples, I say. Thank you, says Mr. Lee. Take one. Now you know more about the neighborhood. Talk a little bit about what you think the relationship is between Mr. Lee and the little girl who is looking for her something beautiful. Watch my moves, said Mark, playing ball in the playground. Hear my sounds, says Georgina, dancing on the sidewalk. We see that what kind of neighborhood she's living in, don't we? Look at their faces, how they talk to each other. Always notice the characters in the books that you read. Sometimes that helps us to understand. Touch this smooth stone, says old Mr. Sam, or Sims, excuse me. He was sitting on his front steps. All these years I've carried it in my pocket. Let me read that again. Touch this smooth stone, says old Mr. Sims, sitting on his front steps. All these years I've carried it in my pocket. Talk to the people around you about why he might be carrying that rock around in his pocket. Through the big window in the laundrette, and a laundrette is a place where you take your clothes for washing and drying. Through the big window in the laundrette, I see Aunt Carolyn holding baby Carl. And where are you off to, little miss? She asks me. I'm looking for something beautiful, I say. She hands me Carl and folds up the clothes. I tickle Carl, and he giggles. He makes me giggle too. My baby's laugh is something beautiful, said Miss Carolyn. Talk to the people around you about what we know so far about everybody's something beautiful. Take just a few minutes and talk to your neighbors about everybody in the story and what is their something beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm hearing such interesting conversation. I go back home and sit down on my stoop, and the stoop in an apartment building is like the front steps that lead to the door to the building. The stoop. I look at the trash in my courtyard and I see the word die on my door. I go upstairs and get a broom and a sponge, and some water. I pick up the trash. I sweep up the glass. I scrub the door very hard. When Di disappears, I feel powerful. Turn to your neighbor and talk about that. When Di disappears, I feel powerful. Why do you think she feels powerful? Someday I'll plant flowers in my courtyard. I'll invite all my friends to see. What is happening to her at this point in the story? Talk to the people around you about what you're noticing about her. Has anything changed? I will give a real home and a real bed to the lady who sleeps in a cardboard carton. She will sing and I will hear her song. Mommy comes home from work and she gives me a great big hug. Do you have something beautiful? I ask her. Of course, she says. I have you. Now let's read the author's note, which is an important part of books. When I was 8 years old, I asked my mother, whose name was Yvonne, for something beautiful. She gave me one of her wedding gifts, a small white china pitcher with a golden handle and a golden rose embossed on it. And embossed means that it was placed on it and was flat, embossed on it. I put the picture on my windowsill, and the windowsill is the little piece of wood that here you can see the windowsill. Oops.